I've played over 17 hours worth of DayZ Frostline so far, and here are my initial reactions and thoughts about the map. For disclaimer, I obviously do work on DayZ. I am DayZ's community manager. I am going to keep this video as unbiased as possible and come from it as the perspective of a player and content creator, so just bear that in mind. The first thing that you will notice when you get into this map is the environments, the sounds around you, the sounds when you're running and walking, your feet crunching on the snow. All of that is so different to Chernobyl or Livonia. It's one of the major things you will notice the second you log into this map. The next thing you will notice is the details in the towns and the map itself. So much more detailed than any official map we have ever had in DayZ. Saying that, this map, even though it is beautiful and sounds beautiful, it is hardcore. It is not going to be like playing on Chernobyl or Livonia. It's not going to be that easy at all. It is so much more hardcore than even I actually expected it to be. I'm a person who likes to get off the coast as soon as possible. If I spawn in Chernobyl, spawn in, I grab a small bit of food and I run north. I get off the coast as fast as possible. I don't like being there. If you try to do this in Sakal, you're going to die. You're either going to die to the elements or you're going to die to some wildlife, either that be wolves or bears. You're not going to get very far. The key to this map is you have to stay on the coast longer than you would probably expect. The one thing that this map is going to do is it's really going to change the way how people play the game. I've completely had to change my play style to adapt to this map, and I think a lot of other creators who have been playing it over the past week have also had to change their play styles about it. And I don't think this is a bad thing. It gives a fresh experience to the game. It makes you think and play in ways you've never done before, and I think that's a good thing. So staying on the spawn towns is going to be better. Most of the best loot is honestly going to be along the coast anyway, as it is kind of set up totally different to Chernobyl or Livonia, and it's a bit interesting to get used to. At the moment in the playtest, when you're in the spawn towns, the loot is not very great. There isn't much loot going around because obviously everybody is spawning in those areas. As far as I know, there is going to be some tweaks done to that, so hopefully it'll be a bit better on release. But the further south you go down, as you start heading towards the airfield or the military island or even the main city before you get to those areas, the loot does start to get better. So progression definitely does happen. The inventory sizes will probably play a big part in the way people loot. If you come straight from 125 to 126, you're going to notice a drastic difference in the loot sizes, and that will take some getting used to, but I don't think it's going to be overwhelming. Within a week of playing, you'll be totally used to the new inventory sizes, but they are a lot more limiting than 125 is currently. One thing that has been quite good to see is there is people working together a lot more. Instead of it being constant KOS like it would be on Chernobyl or Livonia, you are actually getting people teaming up and helping each other and just trying to survive the elements. PvP players are really going to like this map in my opinion, because you actually do have to just fight the elements themselves before you even try and fight any players. So it's definitely something that is a big change and something we've never seen in DayZ before, and I'm very excited to see how console players get on with this new surviving the elements instead of just, you know, surviving against other players. Obviously us PC players have had Namalsk for a few years now, and so we are kind of used to this kind of hardcore stuff, but for the console players it's going to be a completely new concept, and I'm very, very excited to see what you all think about it. So far from all the streamers that have been playing the event, there has been great reception. Everybody has been really, really happy with it, which personally that surprised me a bit, especially for the hardcore Namalsk players who just stream nothing else but Namalsk. I was thinking that they might not like it in comparison to Namalsk, but so far I haven't heard any really bad reactions to this map, which is very surprising and pretty great to see. I do spend most of my time on the coastline of Sakal, and I think a lot of people do the same. It is going to be a lot more difficult to get inland than you would probably imagine, and even getting onto the islands as well is going to be a bit more difficult because you're not going to be able to swim in the water or in the oceans of Sakal. You will freeze to death. There's no way you're going to be able to swim from the mainland island to one of the smaller islands on the coast. So far, I have not seen any boats. Actually, I have. I've seen one boat so far on the islands, and that has been it. So I actually haven't been able to go out and reach the rest of the islands yet, but it's going to be interesting to see what players do for them. I think those islands are going to be very good for base builders. So if you're a base builder, definitely check those islands out when the map releases. When you do get inland though, it is completely different from the coast. There's a lot more snow the more inland you go. So the higher you go and the more in you go, the colder it also gets. So you really do have to be prepared going in there. You have to have good clothing, you have to have a heat buff, and you have to have food on you as well. Wildlife does spawn in there. There is reindeer. You obviously have the foxes and the hares and all that stuff that do spawn in there as well. So you're not going to be completely stuck without food. Houses out there are more limited than you would probably imagine. Just walking through the landscape of Sakal when you're more inland is just so kind of breathtaking to see. It's just snow-covered mountains. There's a lot of open area. There's a lot of wooded area. There's some military compounds that are scattered around the inland area. They're wide open to snipers. It's really cool to see. The amount of vantage points you can get from different areas is something quite spectacular. And again, I guess we're going to see some pretty cool clips and interactions come from that over the next coming months. But honestly, Sakal has been quite a good change of pace. Totally different to Chernobyl or Livonia once again. It's just something completely different. Even for us PC players, for it to be getting such a positive reaction so far really does say something, and I can't wait for the console players to try this out. I think you really are going to like it. It is going to be difficult. You are going to die. There was some stats released for week 1 of the DayZ event, and there was 2,800 deaths within just 1 week of the event being up, and that's out of 600 players who had joined. So you will die a lot. The average lifespan on this map is 76 minutes. So you can imagine that it's not going to be easy. It really is not going to be easy. So just bear that in mind. You're more than likely going to freeze to death more than you'd imagine. You're more than likely going to die of some sickness more than you imagine. You probably might die to wildlife more than you'd imagine. And you're probably going to die to players more than you imagine as well. It's just going to be all of the above when it comes to this sort of stuff. But again, there is going to be a lot of tutorials out from various different creators in the community, including myself, that are going to be going over tips and tricks on how you can stay alive in DayZ Sakal. And I think it's going to be pretty good. But I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts and opinions on it so far. It's certainly been interesting. I am a fan of it. It does need some tweaking. It's not 100% perfect, and you know, we are taking feedback, collecting data and all of that good stuff, which is great to see as well. So hopefully some changes will happen. But again, no major bugs, no major issues have been found. It's running smoothly, and that's all we really need to hear, right? It's fantastic. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about it down below. Have you been watching any streamers? What have your thoughts been on the map so far as a viewer's perspective? And are you looking forward to it? And if you are, don't forget, it releases October 15th. It's 11 days away of recording this video. And if you are on PC, don't forget to wishlist it on Steam. We're going for 500,000 wishlists. We are over halfway there, well over halfway there, and everything is going great so far. But yeah, that is it for this video. Just wanted to give my opinions. And until then, I shall catch you guys in the next one. So, peace out for now.